Be excellent to each other and party on. We're back for another Legacy League, and today we are playing Mono Blue Tempo Control. This is a post-ban of Entomb and Nadu League, so we won't have to deal with those anymore. Good riddance. And we are able to play a little bit more of a controlling deck, but I also think that the format is going to be filled with tempo decks, which is why I'm playing a monocolor deck that can rely on Basic Island instead of playing Bug Beans, which is also a great deck. But the fact that it's 3-color, I mean, how many Wastelands are going to be played right now when Karnforge is the top deck and everybody's gunning for it, right? So we ourselves are going to play Wasteland, and I've just got a Day's Wasteland shell here, but we're playing Tamio, the greatest tempo card ever printed. She wins faster than a Flip Delver. It's crazy how powerful she is. We are also playing 4 Murktide, arguably the best, air quotes, fair creature ever printed. 2 blue mana for an 8/8 flyer, potentially. And Rolling Dragonstorm to help us not only flip our Tamio, but to draw into answers. Answers being Archmage Charm, which can just hard counter any spell. It's a counter spell effect, but it can also draw 2 cards, which can flip Tamio. And it can take control of a non-land permanent with mana value 1 or less. This could be, you know, your opponent's key that they're using to untap their Grim Monolith, or this could be like a flip Tamio with 8 loyalty counters on it. Or it could be like a giant orc army, because we don't really have ways of getting rid of Bowmasters. That is one of the weaknesses of the deck. That's one of the reasons we're playing 4 Dismember at the cost of a ton of life. And I decided that I didn't even want to play the Surveil land. I know that you can play it, and it can potentially pay a black mana to save you 2 life, but I was just like, no, let's do 18 lands and let's just keep them all islands and keep it really simple. 6 islands, 8 fetches, 4 wastelands, 18 mana base, and keep the curve super low. But we do have something at the top of the curve, and that is True Name Nemesis. This card is very strong in terms of being able to wall a Baragoyf or another ground-based threat. And since we have Astrologian's Planisphere in here, this new equipment from the Final Fantasy set that it comes with this creature. It's got kind of a living weapon thing going on, but you can also just equip this to True Name Nemesis and just uncounterably, like unblockably beat them down. And that is also a way of dealing with a flip Tamio, whom I expect to encounter in practically every round. We also have Brazen Borrower, 4 of them, so we can bounce Tamios out of the way, or bounce, opposing Murktides out of the way, so we can Alpha Strike. I'm really excited to see the synergies in this deck. And let's take a look at the sideboard. We've got 2 back to basics if we're up against a big mana strategy or against lands. We've got Propaganda, which is really going to be there for the aggro matchups if we're up against like any sort of Ocelot Pride deck. This is going to be really strong there. Great throwback card. Love the art. Then we've got full 4 Consigned to Memory. I'm not messing around versus Karnforge. I think this is the best thing to be doing against it. There's also a lot of Eldrazi out there. And then we've got 3 Forced Negations and a full 4 Hydroblast. I expect to probably get paired into Blue-Red Delver or Moonstompy, and we can just easily dispatch of their threats with Hydroblast. It's kind of removal, which blue doesn't normally get to play removal, but it does when it's up against a red deck. So we're going to play a full 5 rounds. See you in round 1. Round 1, we're up against a possible mono red stompy type deck, which would be great. I think this is a positive matchup for that. Our hand is fine. One thing I did not mention in the deck tech is this is a no reserve list deck. If you are looking to get into Legacy, you can build this deck for like $1,000. No dual lands, no null rods even. That's a great card in the meta right now, but I'm trying to play without it. All right, turn 1 Doomsday. Yeah, that happens. They didn't even play a land. All right, our opponent is, to our knowledge, not an experienced Doomsday pilot. They were doing nothing but blue-black Reanimator for the past few months. So who knows? Like, Doomsday is an extremely high skill deck. I'd argue it's maybe the highest skill deck, other than Death Shadow. I think that I remain convinced that Death Shadow is the hardest deck to play in Legacy. All right, so our opponent has gone ahead and named Merfolk with their Cavern of Souls. Let's take a look at their exile pile. They know nothing about our deck. So the real question is, how many lands do they have? But I have a mnemonic that I use here, and it is Buffalo Chicken Dip FOP, an over BCD FOP. So let's go ahead and take a look here at, I'm going to count the forces. 4 forces. Now I'm going to count the Oracle. I don't see Jace in this pile. They're not using Lion's Eye Diamond here. 4 Brainstorms. 4 Ponders. Usually there are 3 Dazes. Let's count them. I see 3 Dazes here. I see 2 Thoughtseize. 3 Thougtseize. Only 1 Tamiyo in the entire... Oh, wait. 2 Tamiyos total? That seems pretty light. Like I would play 4. And 2 Personal Tutors here. So semi-turbo. There could be a Thoughtseize in their hand. All right. I think this might be just a waste this. And then they might cycle it. They might have a cycler. I could play the Daze, but I am worried that they don't cast anything and they just cycle through their pile. It is also nice to play Wasteland out here because it tells them nothing about my deck. Like so many decks are playing Wasteland. So they have to cycle through their pile and resolve, and I'll have the Daze to fight. And I don't believe they have any counter magic left back in their deck. Okay, there's the first cycle. Tarn. Okay. The simple thing to do is just play out this island, and then I've got Dismember up, and I've got Daze up, and I can pay for Daze if they try to go for it this turn. Keep in mind that if they go for it without their pile being completely clear, Dismember will stop them from being able to win because the Oracle trigger sees 0 permanents that have blue. This is fine. There's no way that I'm going to be able to do enough damage to them, so I need to be able to beat them on the stack here. So I'm going to let that resolve. Now I'm going to Dismember. And they probably didn't see Dismember coming from a basic island. They could have a second Oracle. They have 1 card left in their deck. So a Force would be great because that would guarantee that I can stop it. I think what I have to do here is just wait, and I have both Daze and Brainstorm to potentially find a Force. The other thing I could do is I could Ponder trying to find a Force or another land. Oh man, it's hard. If I Brainstorm into a land, then I could Daze, but I'm worried that they have a second Oracle or they would have just conceded. I'm going to Brainstorm because that way I can rearrange cards because I'm not going to get another draw step anyway, so it doesn't really matter with the Ponder. Okay, I did find a land. So I can put back these Tommies. They don't matter. Again, I'm not going to get a chance to swing with Merc. They're going to be dead before the end of the game. So I could Brainstorm into a second Daze or into a Force if they have another land. Okay, so I'm just going to attempt to Daze this first, see what they do. Then, if necessary, I can fetch. Okay, we got it. That is how you beat a turn 1 Doomsday. Turn 0 for us. Okay, so Consign does stop the trigger. I think they're enough into turboing that I think Force Negation is fine. True Name is not necessary here. They're not going to have interaction for our True Name, and it is slow. I could bring the third Force in. Just like they are going to have to do it on their turn, so we are going to be able to Force Negate it. It's not like they can play around. And if we do that, I think we can cut a Dismember, but Dismember does kill Tamiyo, and our life total does not matter. So this is basically just like 1 colorless mana to kill target creature with almost no drawback. My instinct is just to cut a Planisphere. And what I'm going to try to do is just Tamiyo Ultimate them. Tamiyo drawing cards every turn, like getting us in the Howling Mine, is a big enough deal that, like, yeah. Okay, and Dismember was extremely effective there. This hand does not have a blue source. This is an easy mulligan. This does have a blue source. I think we put back the Dismember because we have Daze and Force if we need to fight the creatures. I will force a Tamiyo. Yeah, I'll force a Tamiyo. If they pivot into a creature plan, we're going to hopefully just have a giant dragon blocking that path. Pedal. Okay, they're passing. This is good. There was no turn 1 Tamiyo. I'm just going to go ahead and Underground Sea Tamiyo. Or Island, rather, since we're playing mono blue. All right. And next turn we have Brainstorm. I doubt they brought in creature interaction, but they may have. Okay. That's Doomsday mana, but Doomsday is not forthcoming. I would love to find an island here. I'm going to go ahead and attack, and then I will Brainstorm. I think I'm going to just ponder, because I really do want to maximize the likelihood of finding a land. I only have 18 lands in my deck. Unfortunately, this does take us off having 3 interaction if they have days. They're Bowmastering. I don't think I actually care about that. I could, yeah, it's not that big of a deal. I'm not going to force that, and days wouldn't work. I don't think it's worth dazing just to take them off a pedal. Okay, we found the land. We found a second daze, which I want. I'll just shuffle away this Brainstorm. So I'd ideally like to not have to shuffle away that daze, because it is quite good against their deck. Let's play this out, and I have no intention of flipping her. I'll just kind of like use her as a blocker until I can get up into dragon territory. We're still playing the control role on the draw against Doomsday. I don't think they're going to go all the way with this. We still have our Dismembers in. There's their Tomio. I didn't force this, but I am kind of thinking about forcing this, because if I find a removal, I'm going to want to point it at that. I'll just pitch my backup Tomio. If they fluster, it's pretty bad. They did have fluster in their deck. Okay. That's the days that we knew about. I think here I could get another clue and be fearless. I could also just hang back and deny them a thing. And with all this counter magic, I could probably stop a second Bowmasters there. It's worth noting that if I Brainstorm during their turn after combat, they can't kill this because they can only do the damage to me. I'm just going to chill. I think it's fine to attack at this point. I'm going to go ahead and attack. This may seem reckless, but I would like to have extra clues for later. I do think this game will go a little longer. Okay, and that is probably just a force pitching Brainstorm. I guess I could double daze and get them off this pedal, but then I have no lands in play. I could just pay for days. I think I'm going to do that. I want to get them off this. It'll keep the other days live. And I do need to stop this. If they daze back, it'll be pretty annoying. They are paying. Yeah, I said keep them off days, but I just used both of my dazes. Okay, we did stop it. Yeah, one Bowmaster is pretty bad. 2 Bowmasters is a nightmare. And I did not see those in their deck last time, so they definitely brought those from the board. If they play another one, I will force. Like, I don't think they have days. Oh, Baragoyf. Sadly, this is a force. I'm sorry. It's too big already for me to kill with Dismember. Yeah, they just pivot into a creature plan. Scary stuff. So here, I think we just chill back and we take this hit, and then in the instep, I can crack a clue just to get further into my deck. Yeah, their pivot was very hard, and it is it's hitting me hard. Yeah, they can lose some life here. Yeah, I am just going to block here. If they are able to somehow kill my Tomio, it is unfortunately the end of the world. And you could say, oh, but block this, and then they can't kill your Tomio, but don't think I'm winning a game where they... Oh, damn, I screwed up. They can ping this. Oh, shame concession? I'm not going to shame concede. I should. That was a huge punt, by the way. If you didn't notice that was. All right, so here I think what we do is we just bounce this out of play in combat. And if they try to Doomsday at the beginning, like I can at least get rid of that. But yeah, this is bad territory. Like that was so dumb for me to block the way I did. I could have blocked here, saved the damage, and still done. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do this. And if they can deal with this, well, the game we weren't gonna win anyway. So we're only taking 1 here. It's not the end of the world, but I can't draw this without giving them more bodies. They've got a lot of mana. Maybe the double days play was a mistake. There's the Doomsday. We have to ask realistically, are we going to be able to win from here? I don't think we are, but I'm going to try. They only have 1 card in hand. It's worth noting that if they win through Doomsday, like through Thassa's Oracle kill, like the fact that they did all this damage to us doesn't even matter. It did keep us from Tomio flipping though, but I'm not convinced. Oh, they're choosing a Bowmaster to go in their pile. So they are going to try to kill us through damage. So if I can keep them back, okay, they unselected it, which means I think they thought the better of it because they only have 5 turns, and if I could stall them out, they can't win. Like they'll die. So they do need an Oracle in their pile, but it could be just an Oracle plus a whole bunch of stuff. Okay, it looks like they're selecting a Baragorf here. If we just keep drawing these though, we can kind of slow them down and maybe get through. The best thing to draw is just a giant Murktide, but you know they're gonna have a. So I'll do my thing again. We can see their sideboard plan. Interestingly, like they drew all their creatures basically, or they put all their creatures in the pile. Spectral restitching. Exile X target artifacts and/or creatures. Return the exiled cards to the battlefield under the owner's control. I'm not sure what this is supposed to do. Why this is in there against us? It seems pretty weak. But I can imagine this being good against like consps. That's really the only situation I can see it being good. I love the art though. Other things to note: they still have their Thoughtseize in. Edge of Autumn is not in the pile. Let's count the forces. I don't think they would be putting days in their pile. I see 2 days, so they could have a days in hand. I don't think they would put it in a pile. No, I see all 3. I see all 4 forces. I see 1 Oracle. They could be playing 2. I see 2 Tamios. So maybe they really are just playing 2 Tamios in their 75. I see a Street Wraith and an Edge of Autumn as their Soul Cyclers. Cavern's not in the pile. Yeah, I think they're just going to try to beat us through damage. Right. See what we can rip. Unfortunately, this doesn't answer our problem. There is like a kind of a YOLO thing we could do, which is kill this, crack the clue, maybe draw a blue, like a force to stop the Baragorf. We can play this out, but Baragorf is going to draw a bunch of cards. I think they probably are planning to Barrow, dump their pile, return the Thassa's Oracle to hand, and then just cast the Oracle, is my bet. That is a clean way that they can do it. If Baragorf is going to be a 5/6, I can actually like survive by dismembering, but it doesn't change the fact that we're dead to this. I think there's a high likelihood that they have an Oracle or another Bowmaster in the pile. They chose it and then they chose not to do it. Well, let's take a look. I don't have to guess. Yeah, I think they only have 2 Oracles in their entire deck, and they chose not to add 1. So, yeah, I'm not sure what else they would add to their deck, but I'm pretty sure they have an Oracle in there, and then also Baragorf is going to be smaller now, so it's possible I can just straight up kill it with Dismember. I think I'm just going to wait and try to kill it because I can bring this out and I might draw something. I just feels wrong to burn this on that, but they can kill me in two turn cycles just with the Orcish Bowmaster. So I'll take this. Okay, Barry is a 4/5. I'm going to go ahead and do this first. That's a sick rip. Oh no, we're dead. We're dead to this. Oh, what can we draw here? Because we could crack this, but what are we going to draw at 1? Yeah, I'm just going to concede. That was a great rip, but it's just too late. I mean, had I done the play that I talked about, dismembered, killed, cracked, drawn, I could have countered this. We don't know what else is in their pile. There's no point in giving them extra information. Okay. I think we just leave the deck as it is and go back in. It's worth noting Consign would have been completely dead. There would have been no point at which we could have cast that other than to like maybe stop like a Bowmaster trigger or something. It's also worth noting that I punted like a fool. So this is rolling Dragonstorm into Murktide. Archmage Charm, quite good at stealing Tamio if they play Tamio. We have Brainstorm. We have a Wasteland. I'm going to keep this even though it doesn't have Force. I'll just play this out and pass. Preserve some mystery. If they play Tamio, I probably will go ahead and dismember it. I'll wait till I get to untap probably, just to make sure I can pay for days. Okay, Ponder's fine. I'm not going to pull a land out of my deck here because I want to slightly increase the likelihood that I draw a land because I do want to get up to Archmage Charm. I think it's going to be good here. They shuffled their library. I mean, there's a decent chance that they just... Okay, Murktide is fine. I think I just waste here and we just stall out the game a little bit longer. I don't want a rolling Dragonstorm into a daze That'd be embarrassing. They did have a second land. They're not cracking it. They'll probably go get a surveil land in the end step. But I can't do that if I play this out. I think I'm just going to chill for one more turn cycle. This deters them from fetching a surveil land. So in a way, we're kind of like Rishodon porting them, if that makes sense. But they're also kind of Rishodon porting us. Okay, they're activating. Let's see what they get. It's probably basic island. Now, I can't remember if they have a basic swamp in their deck. I don't believe these decks usually play a basic swamp. That's fine. I don't think they're going to be prioritizing days here because I've already got 2 lands out. So I do think that it's possible that Rolling Dragonstorm might be able to resolve. But if I let that go, I have no interaction. And they could have like some non-pass the turn pile where I just get killed. Like they do have LED in their 75. Pedal. They are fetching. They do have a basic swamp. Thoughtseize. I think this is a good situation where I can just brainstorm because they're tapped out and I can also see what is important here and hide some information. Okay, that resolved. Oh, cards we want to hide. There's a decent chance they just take this Tommy if I leave it in my hand. Archmage Charm is never going to get cast, but we don't have a way to shuffle it away. I think the card to keep is Daze, because at least that way they don't know what I'm capable of. So I think I put back Dismember, and I put back Daze. And if they take my Tommy, so I can Dragonstorm next turn, and I can Merc. They may take the Dragonstorm. Maybe I want to draw the Dragon. No, I don't want them to know about the Daze or the Dismember. So they can take the Dragonstorm if they want. This is a fun matchup, though, for sure. If we were on the blue-black build, the blue-black dragons that I've been playing instead of mono-blue dragons, that would probably be a little bit better. And whether they take the Tommy here will really tell the tale as to what their longer-term plans are. But I was going to say, if it was on the blue-black version, I'd probably have 3 deck, which would be very strong against their comp. Worth noting that if Baragoyf comes out, he's just a 4/5 at this point, so he will die to Dismember. It's also worth noting that next turn I could Tomio and Rolling Dragonstorm. I presume they're going to take one of those 2 cards, though. Wouldn't make sense to take a Merc. Probably wouldn't make sense to take Archmage Charm unless they have a Tomio. Okay, they took a Merc. That's weird. Okay, are they going to go for it? Oh, they're going to go for it. Okay. Well, again, we have Dismember on the top. Ooh, Baragoyf. It's a 5/6 now. No! You went over my helmet. Okay. So it is going to connect here, unfortunately. I don't think there's anything I can do about it. Actually, there is something I can do about it. Not this turn, but next. I could put a blocker in front of it, and I think that they may be inclined to attack Tomio if I have Tomio out. Let's do this. So first, I'm going to put Tomio out. Then I'm going to Rolling Dragonstorm here. And this will put a juicy Tomio out there for them to attack. Does this even make sense? Yeah, I don't think they're going to ignore her. But what I'm going to do... Okay, so this goes off. We flip her. I'm going to bin this extra land. I can bin this. So I get a shuffle later if I need it. I probably won't need it. I don't even know that I want to take the damage here. Let's plus here. Again, it doesn't matter. Like I could have just blocked with her. But now this is going to go back to hand when I cast the Merc, assuming they don't have another Thoughtseize. We did use our Daze there. But next turn we Merc, and Merc's pretty big, and then we Dismember, and then Baragoyf does 0 damage to Merc, so it doesn't die from... Oh, they're long goodbying. Okay. Can't stop that. They are going to get a connection here, unfortunately. Hopefully this doesn't grow. The reason it became so big is because of Lotus Petal, by the way. So they're going to hit for 4 here. This is Scary Town. They mill Athasa's Oracle. That's scary. So we have to worry about them ending the game pretty quickly. That's a pretty good rip. Let's go ahead and Dragonstorm here. 1, 2... and then a bunch of other stuff. Oh, wait, I can take creatures out. That does that shrink it? I think it does. So it's a 4/5. That comes back to hand. Now let's just get rid of it now. I don't want to take the risk of them being able to play out like a dragon or anything. Or, sorry, a petal or anything. Okay. All right. So you're saying there's a chance. We have days up. One more land and we have Archmage Charm. Okay, we can waste that. Okay, and this is a daze. Hopefully they don't have counter magic. Okay. We're in the driver's seat. They have 2 cards. One of them is Thassa's Oracle, which is terrible unless they have a Doomsday to go with it. I think the play here is just Roiling Dragonstorm first. All right. I think we bin the Wasteland here because I can just cast Archmage Charm next turn. I'm going to waste them. Now I'll attack. Yeah, I mean, like that insight, like, oh, I can get rid of the creatures. That was so huge in terms of being able to successfully dismember. They're thought seizing. This is fine. They're doing damage to themselves. I suspect they take the Archmage Charm here because I will be able to cast it soon. And it can steal a Tomio. It can do a lot of stuff. It can draw a card or it can counter a spell. Right, here's a Force Negation, which is great. My instinct is go ahead and Roiling Dragonstorm. That may keep me off of Force Negation, but I don't think that's that big of a deal. Okay, we don't have to worry about Bowmaster here. I think we just bin this. Now we have a nice answer if they find like a third Beargoyf, which I'd be surprised if there's a third Beargoyf in their deck. There might be though. And we can just kill them before that Beargoyf is able to connect. We can also just hold up our mana next turn and not do anything. Yeah, they scoop. All right, see you in round 2. All right, round 2. We're up against EasyMoneyMarksman. He is extremely strong at Legacy. This is one of the original blue-black tempo players. This hand's fine. I'm going to keep it. It's like they could be on anything, frankly. Also, I know that he's a he, but I generally just say they. Some people take issue, like, if you know, it's just a reflex. Okay. This is, I mean, True Name is going to be a freaking house. We can preserve some mystery by just playing Delta. I doubt they're playing Stifle. Stifle's a, air quotes, bad card. I am worried about Bowmaster, but I do have a daze. I think next turn I probably do cast Rolling Dragonstorm. Let's chill. Beargoyf is not in our deck. It is in decks that I'm going to be playing on the channel soon because I think it's incredible right now. Okay, they have another one. It's fine. They're going to fetch. It looks like they're just on straight blue-black tempo. Let's take this damage. I think True Name is going to be insane if we can resolve it. I'm not going to waste them. Obviously, they're not going to give me an opportunity to waste them. They probably think it's the mirror. I got lucky and drew one of my deltas so I could pretend we're in the mirror, but we're not in the mirror. I could even preserve the mystery longer. However, I do think it's correct to just play this into a potential daze just because it's so devastating. I mean, it's good if it resolves, and it's potentially devastating if they're able to Bowmaster it. So yeah, I'm just going to go get some islands here. And the jig is up. They're going to know I'm on mono blue. Why would I be fetching? So Dragonstorm. I think this is just going to get dazed. And you might be asking, if you think this is going to get dazed, why are you playing it? Well, I've got freaking True Name on deck, and I don't want that to get dazed. So if they, I will daze back if they daze here. Okay, we're in. Question mark? They do have the daze. I'm going to daze back. I mean, it's guaranteed if I daze back. And I think it's probably worth dazing here. I have force if I get into a worse situation later. I'll just daze back. This slows down the arrival of True Name. But it's so good if we find a Merc later. And we did successfully get them to burn a daze. So I think the card we discard here is probably the Wasteland. Because Archmage Charm can take one of these from them, which is sweet. If that resolves, that'll be powerful. Because I will have enough types in my graveyard to probably be able to block their Goyf. The biggest scare is, Astrologian Planisphere can come down this turn. Okay, so they're going to take my True Name. I'm not going to force this. I'm going to save my force for like a big True Name or a Beargoyf or something like that. EasyMoneyMarksman said, hi, same to you. I wonder if he's saying big fan back to me. That would definitely make my day if EasyMoneyMarksman watched my channel from time to time. If you're watching, leave a comment and I will be editing. Okay. So the card they took was Force. That's really weird. Okay. I'm just going to jam the Planisphere here. And this is just a, body that doesn't do anything. But if I can equip True Name with it, it'll be pretty good later. All right. We'll just pass. They're probably just going to Bowmaster it. They don't know that I drew another Archmage Charm. All right, we're going to take it. Okay, yeah, they're hidden with both. I'm just going to leave this hero out here. They don't have direct damage in the deck, to my knowledge. Thoughtseize again. I'll just accept this. Next turn, I can steal one of these. There's a decent chance they have a second daze, and that'll just be the game. No shame in losing on the draw to the premier tempo deck with one of the best players. I don't think we're favored in this matchup. Okay, so they already know about this. So I am kind of priced into fetching here. I think I just want to go ahead and steal this from them. Mine will actually be, it'll be the same size. Because they have sorcery, I have creature. I can do it at instant speed, but that does open me up to like a hard cast daze. I don't think that really matters. I think if this fails, we're just dead. Yeah, I'm going to keep this shuffle effect up just in case we draw like a brainstorm later. This does buff this even if it doesn't resolve. But again, I have every expectation this gets dazed or forced. Okay, so now trying to think if there's even game to be played here. We can try to do it again next turn. We just chump and then we have a chump blocker. But it will be tapped. But we do have to chump here. They have just enough material to get across the line. Okay, we're dead. All right. So Propaganda might be good, but it is a lot of mana. I don't think we bring that in. I don't actually think we board it all here. Wasteland is probably bad, but it's part of our mana base. I don't think we ever take it out. Unless we're up against just like straight up combo. We can take out like... Force is bad here. It's possible that Propaganda is better than Force, especially for having these Wastelands in here. I think I'm going to try it. No, on the play, I don't think we do that. That's an on the draw thing. Yeah, they have lots of basics, so I don't think back to basics is where we want to be here. They also have an extremely low curve. I'm just going to run it back. I mean, this is like a super awkward matchup because they're going after a life, and Delver is going to be the same thing. Dismember is not in here for this matchup, but I still think it's worth playing. Okay, this is not going to get wasted out, but it just doesn't do anything. I'm going to mulligan this. Okay, this is just Island Ponder, and eventually we get Mark. That's a solid plan. I'm going to put back Force. No, I'll put back an Archmage Charm. I mean, it's great late game, but I don't need two of them. Okay, we're just going to Island Ponder here. Classic Bosch and Roll Keep. And this is supposed to find land number 2. If it doesn't, I'll just shuffle, but I will wait a second before I shuffle because I don't want them to know that I didn't find my second land. Not that they can do anything about it, but it's just like I'm giving them extra information that I don't need to give them. I think this is just a shuffle. Okay, and we have a Ponder next turn, but that could easily be dazed. I'm not comfortable forcing anything right now, but if I did force, it would be pitching Archmage Charm. I think Murktide is going to help us this game. Murktide outclasses most of the threats, except for Barrogoyf, which is almost certainly in there. Again, this is like really Barrogoyf's time to shine. Now that Entomb is banned, people are playing less Reanimate, so you don't have to worry about your Barrogoyf getting Thoughtseized. And then I'm going to let that go. Thoughtseize is not a great card. It's good against combo, but it's not good in these types of matchups. But like they probably take the Murktide here just because it is going to be a problem down the road. They might take the Ponder. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. I can't do anything. Hopefully I get lucky and draw a land. I do get lucky and draw a land. Love it. Well, they can't daze this. So this is coming down. All right, we've got the first body. Yep. As a byproduct of us being on the play. This can still die to Bowmaster. I will force a Bowmaster. This is another Thoughtseize. They're fetching. They tapped and they fetch. If you do this, you can't undo this. Don't always fetch first is what I'm trying to say. Okay, Ponder's fine. So they have the black floating. And again, they can't undo it. So it's just burned off basically if they don't. They may fatal push this out of the way. I don't even care. This is equipment. I can put it on one of my creatures later. They've seen True Name, I believe, in game 1. Okay, they're Thoughtseizing a second time. This is to take our Murktide, most likely. But maybe our Archmage Charm. Okay. If I get a chance to Archmage Charm, that's 2 triggers on this. Pretty good. Dismember's fine. Unfortunately, I can't do anything. I'm just going to chill and attack, and I will dismember a threat if they play a good threat. Just to be mana efficient. Brainstorm's fine. Tough to represent Bowmasters when you're playing mono blue. There are major trade-offs when you go no reserve list. I do think this is objectively an inferior deck to my blue-black one, but it is also about $5,000 cheaper. Okay, this is fine. I think it's fine to just kill this. They are going to have other threats in their deck that are more important than this, but this buffs this. And I can start hitting them. They're already down at 13, actually. This aggro plan is not that terrible. I definitely don't want to have to rely on this. They could have days in there. Oh, so good, so close to being good. Well, we'll get a land eventually. They can't waste us, which is nice. And this is already out of Bowmaster range. I can grow it with a force if absolutely necessary. Okay, this is the Baragoyf mana. I think they have Bowmasters. Okay, they're just fatal pushing it in the upkeep. I'm not going to interact. Come on, land! Oh, Tommy's fine. Tommy's spectacular. All right, she's in. We're just chilling, waiting for land number 3, and then we can get dazed. And then we can actually resolve our spell that we want to resolve. Archmage Charm will be a good feint. It'll force them to interact because it can flip Tomio and give me 2 cards. It's unfortunate this can't be equipped at instant speed because I'd love to just equip this. They're down to 10. I mean, if I equip this and I cast stuff, like I might be able to kill with Tomio herself. I mean, she is evasive. They only have Mercs as their flying creatures. Come on, land. All right. Well, there's a very real risk in casting Archmage Charm here. Simple thing to do is just equip this and then attack. Or rather, I think I just attack and then I get the clue and then I activate the clue and I chill for a turn cycle. I feel very confident that this True Name is not going to resolve. Even if I force, I don't have a mana up. Yeah, I'll just get an attack. And then I have a clue. And then if they Bowmaster in the end step, I still have the clue activation. So I get a card ahead. I know I was saying I was waiting for the right moment. Brazen Borrower, just playing that out. So unfortunately, I don't know whether they have a daze or even 2 dazes. They could have a daze and a force. What I could do is I could just wait for this to resolve and then I could Tomio or use this and then I plus Tomio. She takes 2, but I have an active Tomio. But I might have to force to protect pitching my True Name, which is basically a guaranteed path to victory. So I think I let this resolve and then I Archmage Charm. The trigger's already on the stack. I guess I could just see whether this resolves first and then I could force. Yeah, I'm just going to draw 2 cards. So again, I'm going to get this Tomio trigger regardless of what happens. There's the daze. I think I'm going to go for it. I'm going to go all in on this Tomio, buying time while I draw into action. Please don't have a force. If they have a force, it's a complete blowout. Yeah, they do have the force. Okay. And they had the force anyway, so it's not like this would have gone some other way. So, unfortunately, this is what defeat looks like. I could have just let it go. My opponent's extremely skilled. So I do get the clue, but then they have this body and they can start attacking me and I lose Tomio in combat. Yeah, bad all around. They're down to 2 cards. I mean, it's not like we went down cards. We used the same number of cards. Well, actually, we did lose Tomio here. She's kind of a 1-for-1 if you want to think of it that way. But they have the body. I think they came out on top with that exchange. And now when we crack this, there's a good chance that there's a bum. Yeah, so there was no way in heck that TNN was resolving unless we waited like an entire turn cycle. Okay, Kaito, that's bad news. Now they have an engine. The only good news about that is that, True Name is still a house if we find him. We have 1 more in our deck. They put a Mire in their graveyard, so they kept it one of their top cards, so they probably have stack interaction, is my instinct. going to go ahead and draw first. Okay. I don't think we're winning from here because they have the Brazen Borrower as well that they can play out. They actually can't cast it with the current mana that they're representing. Yep. We are deadzos. Didn't even take a game off him. I mean, Murktide would be a decent draw here, but I have to imagine they have that answered. They can answer it with this. So we need like Murk into Murk. I think it's fine when I already have one in hand. Well, I'll take an organic draw. Okay, a Planisphere. Unfortunately, this doesn't do anything. The token just gets bounced. GG's. A quick thought, if I had just let them do the 2-for-1 there, they would have had Daze and they would have had Force, but they wouldn't have necessarily been able to stop True Name if I just played him out on turn, like with 4 lands, because I would have had the land that I could have fetched. So if I just let them take my Tamiyo and not put up a fight there, I did draw the land, but I didn't know whether I was going to draw the land. I wasn't likely to draw the land. I think I had like maybe 10 lands in my deck at that point. Maybe 12. Round 3, we're 1-1. Opponent is likely on Painter. We have a Tamiyo Brainstorm hand. You don't throw these back. Even against Painter, and we have a Daze to protect if they blast. We even have Astrologist Planisphere, which can grow with the... which I think I'm going to do. All right, Tommy's out. And this is a new meta, so I just looked my opponent really quickly, and they almost always play red decks. Okay, this could be Ruby Storm or... Okay, there's the Emery. I can't do anything about that. They do have a card draw engine now. They found a Grindstone, so they're on Blue Painter. Yeah, so they can activate every turn cycle. The best draw or find off of a Brainstorm would be Dismember to stop them from being able to get this engine going. They also do not have a target for my Brainstorm awkwardly. I think I shuffled these away. I don't think going on to Planisphere is the correct thing when I could potentially Dismember this before they get card draw. Because they did use a lot of resources to get that out. Well, they used a pedal. It's not a ton of resources, but it's non-zero. They don't necessarily have a path to a Pithing Needle. For Tamiyo, they could absolutely draw an Urza Saga or naturally draw a Pithing Needle. I imagine the deck contains a Pithing Needle, but it might be in the sideboard. I'm going to go ahead and play this out before I Brainstorm just in case they have like some sort of interaction. I don't think they would. I'd be sad if they force here, but they don't have the ability to... okay. Well, there's the Dismember I was looking for. Cha-ching. And we don't need these Wastelands. Well, I should probably hang on to one. I think the ship has sailed on Astrologian's Planisphere. Brazen Borrower is insane against their deck, so I'm going to keep that. Okay. And she flips. This is exactly how I drew up this deck. Like, Dismember has been insane this entire league. I love this card. I think it never should have been printed. I've been very vocal about the fact that I don't like Phyrexian mana. It breaks the color pie. Blue should never have had removal. But, hey, we're trying to do no reserve list here. And boom, boom. Feeling pretty good. I can always just regrow it and kill again if they force. But I think this is a force back. I think I'm going to force pitch Brazen Borrower. Because Daze... Yeah, I don't like the pitch Brazen Borrower here, but... And the reason I hung on to this is Urza Saga. Urza Saga is pretty good against my deck. But since I have a Wasteland to deal with the Urza Saga, pitching the Brazen Borrower, which is removal for Urza Saga. The card they pitched there, by the way, is a second Emery. So they just didn't want to take a turn off for that. I think these were the days. This is a 2-for-1. It's brutal. Like, they're so far behind. Yeah, they just scoop. That was savage. Absolutely savage. Okay, so... Consigned Memory is actually not that good against their deck because most of their key spells are blue. Back to Basics probably doesn't matter. Propaganda probably doesn't matter. They're on Painter, not Affinity Stompy. So I don't think this is great. Also, they potentially have lots of mana off Ancient Tomb anyway, so this won't necessarily save me from a giant construct raining down on me. I think we keep the deck the same way as it is. Archmage's Charm can potentially steal constructs from them, which our constructs are never going to be as big as theirs, but that is a chump block plus removing one of their attackers. It's not nothing. I think Days will probably stay alive throughout the game because their mana is so razor thin. And if you want to watch me play Blue Painter, I did 2 leagues. I've got I think 2 or 3 leagues, maybe like a double league too. And I did trophy twice with it with Blue Painter. I think it's great. Yeah, and it may be well positioned right now. I hadn't really thought about it for a while. Yeah, let's just submit. I could definitely see room for consign here, but they're not pressuring our life total most likely until they are suddenly pressuring our life total very hard with the constructs. So I think it's fine to keep all the dismembers in. Yeah, I mean, this seems okay. It's not spectacular. I like the Wasteland a lot. Murktide will be huge soon. A lot of it is on the back of we have Brainstorm Shuffle, which fixes a lot. Lava Spur. Probably getting like okay, there's Emery. She's back. See what she flips. She flips the Mishra's Bauble. So they do have the draw engine. So this is like the nightmare, is that they've already established their Howling Mine, and I haven't established mine yet. Wow, lucky. Yeah, that's super lucky. I'm just gonna dismember. They didn't have the extra mana to protect her with Lava Spur. Yeah, and it just kills her. So now they're down to 3 cards in hand. They drop to 4. They have 1 land, which we can waste, but we're going to be wasting this. It is sometimes correct to just strand them. Oh, Tamio's in your deck too. Well, I have Archimage Charm for her, but that's a few turns away. Lava Spur. Oh, that's great. This is the interaction right here. And if you want to watch a whole lot of this, watch my league with Blue Painter. This came up a lot. Lava Spur immediately giving you clues. Yeah, now I think that these are going to get so big and they're going to be able to draw cards that it probably is correct to hit their disappearing land. Let's think about this. I'll see what I draw first. Days. Oh man, if they create even 1 construct, it's pretty catastrophic. And this can also get like Pithing Needle and a lot of other stuff. I think it's correct to just go ahead and waste this now and just let them have an extra clue. They may not have the mana to cash those in. This is the backbone of their deck. This is how they actually win in most matchups. Like the Painter is almost kind of like a backdoor combo. Right, and I will probably Brainstorm end step because with Fetch, I've got a Murktide, which will be tall enough to stop Tommy. They had Otawara, so they would have been able to crank out constructs, so I do feel vindicated in my decision to waste their Urza Saga there. 2 constructs on the table. I don't want to daze anything. That has to resolve. I know that we can stop that, but I need to get Murk out. I guess I could Brainstorm for Force, and that would be good. Yeah, let's do that. And then if they counter my Force, because I can pitch one of these. Okay. So Wasteland is great. We're a couple turns away from it. I do want to shuffle away Archimage Charm as much as I'd like to take their Tamio. That could come up, though. They're not going to be able to attack in because this will be a 5/5. But they could just like attack, create the clue, and like flip her somehow, or they could just flip her main phase before pre-combat with a Thoughtcast or something like that. Yeah, I'm gonna have to let this stock up resolve though. I feel confident that that's correct, and time walking ourselves again by dazing is not the. It does make the Mercs bigger. I could just do double Merc though, but I need this to be at least 5, so I'm not gonna have a lot of material in my graveyard to make the second Merc big. I mean, like, this may sound weird, but my instinct is to shuffle away the Tamio. Because Merc is going to be a pretty big presence. I doubt they have an answer in their deck for it. I'm going to shuffle away the extra Merc. Yeah, and then I'll just put, I don't know. Actually, I'm not going to be able to... Yeah, I am. I'm going to wait and waste next turn. In fact, I probably won't waste anything except Urza Saga, because that's extremely powerful win con potentially. So even with Merc stymieing their attack... they could find like LED, or they may be able to get Painter out. I really want them to flip her because then I can just Archimage Charm her. That does require me drawing another land. So let's go ahead and do our thing. And I did say it in the very nasty THANG way. My excellent friends. All right, so let's grab these. Murktide. Somebody tweeted this. It was just like a picture of like 3 Murktides, 4 Tamios, 4 Brainstorm, 4 Ponder, 4 Days, 4 Wasteland, 4 Force of Will. And they said, yeah, you can just put anything you want into this deck and it's pretty good. Like, whatever you add to this doesn't really matter. You've already got the core. Okay, there's the Thoughtcast. This is going to flip her, which is great. So she wasn't going to be able to attack. I'm fine with this. They have a lot of material over there. There's the bobble. That's fine as long as they don't have a Emery to get that combo going. If I find a... I hope they tap out completely. I don't think that's likely to happen, but if they do, there's a Grandstone. I can yoink their Tamio with Daze Protection. They could have Metallic Rebuke, but I can daze that because they'll have to pay 1 blue. Come on, just give me a blue source. This can actually kill Tamio, but I'd rather yoink her than kill her. Kill her, mommy. Kill her. That's a reference to the original Jason movie, Friday the 13th, the first one. You keep hearing that. The Jason breathing theme. If they have more than one Otawara, they could, in theory, bounce their Tamio back to their hand. That would not be good. Come on, give me a blue source. Oh, easy money. So I can't stop a force here. Let's take it. I live for this. Please Metallic Rebuke so I can daze this. Oh, Flusterstorm. Unfortunately, dazing does not stop this. That was a brutal play. Okay, I'll just kill her then. You're no fun, Cavalryman. Where's the fun in like not just letting Tamio die? Okay. In all seriousness, like that is a pretty sweet tech card to have in your deck. Okay, so Ding Dong the Witch is dead, and we're just gonna pass with like Dazes or Soul Interaction. I don't know that we're in a bad position. There's another Thoughtcast. That's good. Come on, just play something into my days. Okay, I'll waste that. I'm gonna waste the heck out of that. Don't have it. Do they have the mana? They don't have the mana, but like I'm dead next turn, basically. I'm trying to think of what I can even draw here. They paint everything red. Another Emery. Well, I do think I daze this because it just like even if I answer this, it just makes everything such a chore. I need to, yeah, because they can just keep bringing stuff back. I'm going to attempt to daze it. What I'll have to do next turn is ponder into another Dismember. All right. And this is totally expected when you let your opponent successfully Thoughtcast twice and do the stock up thing. I mean, like, they have definitely gotten a lot of spells through this game. Give me luck. You gave me luck earlier with the island. I don't deserve any luck, but... Oh, that would have been nice last turn. I'm going to go ahead and ponder first. Just in case I find a Brazen Borrower that can keep this out of play for a turn cycle, but I don't think it'll be enough. Oh, wait, I can force it on the way back down. That'll be enough. Brazen Borrowers and Dismembers. 7 hits. 7 hits and 44 cards. We get 4 looks. This is a shuffle. Oh, so close. So close. We could take the Grindstone from them if we had more mana. Yeah, even if I waste here, they have Metalcraft, so they have it. I could make them do it. I don't know what they would think I would have. They might play patiently. If I give them the Urza Saga to create a construct, I can still potentially win around that. But what I can't win around is, yeah, I'm just going to, because I need to be able to untap an Archmage. Well, Archmage Charm, if I try to yoink this, they're already going to have that. So I have to make them think that I have Brazen Borrower. And the way I do that is playing this out, and then I am going to just attack them. But like the fact that I'm still playing the game communicates to them that I think I have some sort of chance. And that alone may give them pause. But like usually the correct thing to do is just grindstone them. You don't wait till their upkeep and all that stuff. You can do that. Okay, they're Emerying. I can't counter this one, I don't think, because if I do get to bounce this out of play, I need to force it on the way back down. Yeah. Well, I think they're just going to grindstone me here. They're attacking. If they make a dude, I am 100% just yoinking this. They don't have another one face up. Emery did flip this Tezzeret, which they can't play, but it is interesting to see. That was, when I was playing, that was not in my blue painter deck. Okay. Wow. That's freaking huge. Freaking huge. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and waste them. And they're going to activate. And then I'm going to yoink the Grandstone. All right. All right. So they are not going to be able to search their deck. This grindstone is going to be on my side of the table. I'm going to take it now. This is an 8/8. We're so dead. It'll be a 7/7 after I take this, but I think I'm going to just die to combat. Yeah, I don't think I can win this. I'm just wasting everybody's time, including yours. Sorry, my excellent friends. Okay, there's an out of me drawing a Murktide and then just being able to attack for lethal and having a chumper. So I do think I attack here. If I don't attack, they can attack for... They can get a thing. Oh, they can equip this. I think we're dead. I don't think this attack makes sense. Because they already have essentially 9 power on the table. Yeah, I just need to hang back. Maybe they will attack with this and I can like trade and I can keep this around for a turn cycle, even if I'm at like 1 life. But that does mean that I'm not casting Dismember, which is black, by the way. They didn't name blue. Not like traditional Painter where they have red. This is a really interesting game, though. I was correct to not concede there because they did get a little bit tilted, assuming that I had some sort of interaction, which I did not have. Brazen Borrower off the top solves the construct problem. In terms of things they can return, they're getting the bubble back, which is not that big of a concern at this point in the game. Like, we have much bigger concerns. It does make the construct bigger. Now it's swinging for 8. I think Murktide is a goner, unfortunately. We're drawing to 4 Brazen Borrowers to deal with this, and then we have to figure out how to deal with this. Draw an extra card every turn. And stock up. I think this is a fight. Like, they could just find so many things. I'm going to let it go. Because if like I've managed to somehow stabilize, I'm going to need this to keep me alive. Because this is a dead card. Okay, so this is 9/9. It is going to be blocked. Poor Murktide. And this is the flip side. Everybody who's like, you concede too early. Like, we're like probably 5% to win this game or less. Maybe like sub 1%. But I'm still playing it because it's fun. This is not one of those tedious, like watching somebody go off with the One Ring. Like, this could, in theory, be solved by me drawing a Brazen Borrower. Because I Brazen Borrower that, I kill this. They don't have a lot of an engine left. Okay. How about that? Let's get rid of that. And I kept my force precisely for this occasion. I do not have any means of rebuilding. This is dead. I'm going to kill the Emery because she represents the engine. And then I'll be dead in 3 turns to Painter. But I do have this that I can play out. Dead in 5 turns, rather. I can always grindstone myself if I have nothing to do. That does actually help me a little bit. No, wait. That would kill me. Never mind. It does not help me to grindstone myself. I have a stylish way to end the game. Okay, so we're taking 3. So we're dead in like 2 turn cycles. And they found... I'm trying to think. Like, if we draw a Merc, it's not even enough. No, it might actually be enough if we drew a Merc. Just to... Oh, okay. They have another Emery. All right. Yeah, I'm done. We're not going to overpower all that. Okay, and I dedicate that game to all the people in my comments that say I concede prematurely. Okay, so they may be right in some circumstances. Any sideboard changes here? I don't think Back to Basics is good enough. They have Moxen and stuff. I think I'm just going to keep the deck as it is. We're on the play, so Daisy's going to be better. Their life total was fairly low toward the end. So there's easy to imagine a world in which I didn't have to desperately steal a non-functional card. Okay, this is mulligan just to survive. They've kept 7. This is the Dragonstorm into Murktide. This has Archmage. I'm going to keep the Force. Brazen Borrower is insane. So what do we put back? Well, I don't want to put back a land because I really do need the Dragonstorm into Murktide combo to pull ahead. That's like the closest my deck has to an engine, other than, of course, Tomio. Yeah, I think I put back the Archmage Charm because it is several turns away. All right, I'll play a fetch pass. Opponent with the seat into Urza's Bauble. Into Emery. They don't have the ability to counter this. I think it's enough of a pain that I just want to kill it because they already have the face-up Bauble. And they may just have another one. Engines for me, not for thee. Okay, Planisphere, probably going to be the discard. We'll see what this Rolling Dragonstorm yields. I love this card. I'm so happy that they printed a blue up the beanstalk. It's kind of how I think of it. Again, not nearly as powerful as of the Beanstalk, but it does not require you to splash. I would say on a whole, Rolling Dragonstorm is probably actually a better card than Beanstalk. I know them's fighting words. I play Beanstalk a lot too. I love it. Please force this. Oh, you're going to bobble me now. You're going to see my Planisphere, not my Murktide. So you're going to be like less intimidated by this. Oh, it's a big deal. He doesn't have the dragon. Okay, and it resolves. Oh, Days. Sweet. So I think we keep Days, and they've already seen the Planisphere. But this does grow the Merc if I put the Days in. Well, I don't want to put the Days in the yard. I don't really want to go down a card. I think I'm going to put the Force in the bin, and I'm going to hope the Days stops. But if I get this back to hand next turn, and that's a big if, because I need to draw another card. But if I have this back in hand, then Force is really good. But I'm going to assume that like they don't have a ton of mana over there. So I'm going to bin the... Okay. Deliberating every little small detail, because they're playing a combo deck over here, and I'm trying to play fair with my dragons. With my little uncommon. My maybe 2 penny uncommon on MTGO. It's less than a ticket, I think. Okay, there's the Urza Saga. Spell Bomb. That is annoying, because that can bounce my Merc back to hand, but I still get the juice of Rolling Dragonstorm. I need a land to trigger it. Perfect. Yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and do this and force them to use that. Because then I'll have the Astral Legends Planisphere, and I can cast this, and I double trigger it. It's pretty good. I don't expect them to have any sort of Days here, so I'll just save a card from my graveyard. I'm going to assume that they're just going to bounce it to hand, so I'll just make it a 4/4. If they counter this, I actually don't get this back into hand, but they don't counter it. Okay. So unless I draw a land, next turn I'm just going to re-rolling Dragonstorm. Or next turn I'll probably Planisphere. Yeah, they're just bouncing it immediately. That's fine. I totally respect that decision. Just get it off the table. But it is going to combo me. I've got a 2-for-1 engine here if you keep bouncing these Mercs. Okay, do you have the thing that gives you... They do. Oh no, Days just got a lot worse. And now we're facing constructs, but they don't have any. They only have 1 artifact out. Waste would be the best to draw. Okay. So here, I think the simple thing to do is just Planisphere and then Ponder. Okay, it's in. Job select. I don't think anybody ever thought that that would be like an ability in Magic the Gathering. Sounds like something that happens when you are on LinkedIn late at night, desperately searching for a way to pay the rent. Hull Breacher. That's pretty damn annoying. That's a cool card. They did forego but they're going to get a clue off it. I can't Daze, unfortunately. So yeah, we're just going to look at our deck. We're not going to get to actually draw the card. I mean, Archmage Charm can take a construct from them. And we will have an artifact out. Oh, man. These cards are so bad. Like with that Hull Breacher, I think this is a shuffle. Okay. We don't get the card. We pass. We have a blocker for Hull Breacher if they send it over, which they're not going to do because that wouldn't make any sense. Okay, here comes the dude. Now we'll see what they search for. Probably just like a Lava Spur Boots so they can attack. They have this treasure, so our days gets even worse. Yeah, Hull Breacher, great card. I'm so thrilled that it's being played now. Okay, wow. Okay, we just died. I just died in your arms tonight. Must have been Urza Saga. I do not have any vocal training. Okay. Don't kill her. Don't you dare. No! Oh, and they have the exactly 1 mana. Yeah. I mean, I feel like conceding here. They got 3 cards in hand. Yeah, they're going to create... Yeah, I'm sorry, folks. They've completely destroyed us. We had a good game there, but... Metallic Rebuke just when they need it. I think True Name. So let's live in a fantasy world where True Name resolves here. So we just attach this to True Name. We have this to serve as our chump blocker. And then over the course of the next turns, this gets bigger and bigger, and then we just alpha strike them. Like there's nothing they can do. There is no way that they can deal with this. But I mean, I guess you could say like, well, you could have drawn True Name next turn. Let's see. Great games though. All right. The round 4, we are 1-2. Our opponent was playing this Tomio deck with Emery and this Narset, whom I've never seen before. Narset, Jeskai Waymaster. We'll see if they're even on this deck, but I just wanted to highlight that this is really spicy. You may discard your hand. If you do, draw cards equal to the number of spells you've cast this turn. Seems pretty strong for a 3/4 for 3. So it's like a Rock's War Monk stats. And then 3 Brainstorm? Are you joking? Okay, so this is a rogue list for sure. They've got Corey Steelcutter. They don't have any Ponders. They have 3 Plows, 2 Metallic Rebuke. Again, like, I don't mean to be harsh saying, are you joking? But like, that seems like a very contrarian take. So this hand is great against basically everything. I'm snap keeping this, and we'll just chill and hope to get a Planisphere on the table. And usually this card just distracts. The body distracts, and then the equipment, in theory, sticks around and equips a true name. So they did have Flooded Strands in this build. They do not have Daze. They do have Metallic Rebuke. One of my favorite cards. Oh my goodness. I love Metallic Rebuke. I play 4 of them in every Affinity style deck I play. So I'm just going to play this out and pass. I could play the Flooded Strand and Preserve Mystery, but just in case I need to dismember something, I still want to be able to shuffle my Brainstorm. If they are on a 3-color deck, there's a good chance I'm going to get to waste something here. All right, Meticulous Archive. Blue-white, so we may be on that Jeskai Artifacts deck. That was a trophy from just like a day ago. All right, I think what we do here is we just jam with the Planisphere. They're not going to be able to Metallic Rebuke it. And now we're showing our true color. All right, we got our Job Select, and we got our Witch, or Wizard, Hero Wizard. She's got a cool witch hat on. All right, they got the Jeskai colors. Is this the Narset? Oh, Mox Amber. Spicy. Not going to have... Oh! Yeah, I think we just dismember. I'm not going to force. Okay, they've got the engine online, so we do need to kill this thing. But I have lots of interaction to ensure that we're able to kill it. I think cutting them off white is worthwhile. Yeah, I'm just going to do that. So let's go ahead and start with the dismember here. Okay, that grows this. They want to fight. I think this is a force. Pitching Mark, because we've already got a body on the table. This might seem reckless, but yeah, I do want to get this off the table for sure. And this is another trigger on our hero. So it looks like it resolves. Now I can just waste this. So this takes them off plow. I could just Brainstorm here just to do a lot of damage. I'm tempted to do that. It gives me an imperfect Brainstorm, but oh my goodness, it's so sweet to do this. Okay. These are great. I don't need this land, so I'll put it back. I don't think they're playing any sort of stack interaction. It doesn't really matter. I'll just draw this land. Okay, now we can attack for 5. Pretty sweet. They do have things to answer this, but they don't have white mana anymore. The Mox Amber does not tap for anything if you don't have legendary creatures. Hopefully they don't have like a follow-up Emery. Wow, they didn't do anything. That's great for us. Okay, this is the land we knew about. I think I just attack and pass with optionality. I can always like flash this in just to... Yeah, actually that'll be death. They'll be dead if I flash this in. And they don't have any interaction. Tommy's fine. I can just dismember her. I am just going to do this in the end step. My opponent's like, man, how many dismembers do you play? Main deck. I play all 4. And if you want to fight over that, I do have a Daze that will push this to lethal levels. They scoop. That felt great. So that was on the draw. But we had like a perfect hand. So Consign could do stuff here. But again, like actually, they don't really have any... Like, you don't want to counter. What are you going to counter? Like some 0-drop artifact? That's not good. I think Back to Basics is great here. They seem to be fairly mana intensive. Let's take a look at the mana base. They have a single island. Everything else is non-basic. This is the poster boy for Back to Basics being good. Actually, it's even better against like 12 post type decks, but it's good here. They are playing red. Hydroblast could come in. We did not show them Daze. They have Corey's. They have Narset. They're going to have their own Pyros. Oh, they have Jeskai Ascendancy. I don't even know what this is. Jeskai colors. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, creatures you get +1/+1 until the end of the turn. Untap those creatures. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you may draw a card. If you do, discard a card. That seems pretty sick. I do want to get some Hydroblast up in here, but not all 4. Maybe I cut like 2 dazes. I don't see anything that's going to answer True Name other than Pyroblast on the stack. I think he can stay. This might be a longer game, which is why I'm bringing in back to basics. It might make sense to take out the other days because they're not gonna explode my face. I don't think. Yeah, I think I just take out the dazes completely, and we're gonna surgically target like specific cards that they're trying to do stuff with. This could take a body. It can flip. I think this is worth keeping around. It is kind of scary investing 3 mana in something that can get Pyroblasted. I am so excited to be playing no reserve list decks again. I feel like they were kind of like soft banned for a while. Oh man, it's a freaking Tomio hand with a Ponder. I have to keep this. We don't have much interaction here, but Ponder, like Island Tomio, is going to be a great start, and we'll have a few turns to draw land and a Ponder to find one. I will definitely do the Tomio first, and then they'll probably just kill her because like she's the ultimate killable, turn 1 play. And then we'll just dig for a second. They kept their top. They know what we're drawing. Wait. They don't know what they're drawing. What we're drawing, I don't think. I think they bobbled themselves to see whether it was correct to shuffle. Which is a good play, by the way. It's a heads up thing. Like always use your bobbles tactically. There's value in being able to shuffle away dead cards. Please force this. I know she's the big bad in the format, but she's just the beginning of your world of hurt that you're entering here. And I'm hoping they use up all their interaction with that, and then I can stick the giant mark. They're brainstorming, getting a perfect brainstorm, but not a Tomio brainstorm, which is like it used to be. Brainstorm was scary enough with the fetch land now, but it's really scary when you have a Tomio out. They don't know. I might have a brainstorm in hand. They may need to act right now. Okay. So they are denying themselves a color to clear my Tomio, which I totally respect. I think that's 100% the correct play. Let's see if we can find a land here. We can't. Okay, this Ponder has to find land or we are like really screwed. Okay, I found a force and a land. I'm going to take the land now, and I'll have Hydroblast up, and then I will take the force. And then we have like our lands can't be interacted with. So we will eventually find land number 3. But in the meantime, I think next turn is probably just rolling Dragonstorm. And I can dismember Instep to kill something. Like an Emery. And if we find the land, then Back to Basics comes online. Unfortunately, they do have a Mox here. So they may have enough stuff. Oh, Emery again. Yeah, I'm just going to have to dismember. I have a follow-up dismember. But I do want to make a play next turn. So I'm going to dismember here. And worst case scenario, they get an extra bobble. Because I don't want to wait to draw a force. I can force protect the subsequent dismember a turn from now. Okay, that worked. So whenever you immediately kill an Emery, like the value of them putting some artifacts in their graveyard, it makes the subsequent Emerys better, but it's not like that big of a deal in my experience. So it makes sense to stick the Planisphere first, so then we rolling Dragonstorm subsequent turn. If they force this, it's not a big deal. I'm saving my force to protect my Back to Basics. I think it's going to be backbreaking for them because their deck is very mana intensive. Even if they blast this, I still get to keep the creature, which is not nothing. They do have red now. I don't expect them to have days or really any... Let's take a look at their sideboard. I didn't look at it. Yeah, they don't have any soft permission. They're not playing... they are playing 2 Metallic Rebukes. Okay, Corey. So they could technically stop this. I'll just wait a turn and I'll Hydro. Well, I can't actually Hydro next turn if I want to go ahead and draw a card. But if I Hydro now, they get 0 value from it, which is pretty good. I think I just Hydro and attack. I want to Rolling Dragonstorm. Rolling Dragonstorm is pretty good. It might find us a land. Yeah, I'm going to Rolling. This gets us 2 triggers if they don't counter it. And if I find a land and I have an island in there, I might be able to... Okay, there's the Metallic Rebuke. I'm tempted to just force this because this is 2 triggers on here, and I'll hit them for 4. They're not going to be able to rebuke me again. I think it's fine to pitch Merc, considering I already have a threat on the table, and I'm not even close to really getting much value out of Merc at this point. Okay. All right. So this is going to be huge. Oh, yes, we found the land. I can blast this. So good. So freaking good. Oh my goodness. I'm so hyped. I could bin the Dismember. I think it's probably fine. We don't have a target for Dismember right now. Gosh, this deck feels insane. I mean, like, I know we lost the first 2 rounds, but like, it feels like a really good deck considering it's a budget deck. And I do have 2 back-to-back 5-0s with a deck that's very similar to this. Wow, we just hit them for 5. And this is only going to get bigger. We stick this dragon and it becomes a 7-7. It's going to be insane. They have 2 cards in their hand. And next turn we back to basics and tap down their mana for the entire rest. Oh my goodness, my cat keeps opening the door to come in and it makes the piano super loud. 1 second. I'm sorry, I'm having like the best Legacy experience I've had in at least since I was playing my Lone Block decks. This is so fun. I'm so glad they banned those cards. Okay. So we can permanently tap down 2 lands, or we can try to just like run them over. I think it's totally fine to Dragonstorm here. They have 1 card in hand, but this is an engine. We can find a Dismember. We can find a Brazen Borrower. I think this is worth doing. I don't think there's a card that's going to... Like, I think I can hold this in my hand and decide what to do with later. All right, and unlike previous, they don't actually have a 3rd mana, so we don't need to worry about them, like... And if we find a Merc, we can actually cast it and get these back into our hand. It's crazy that playing back to basics against an opponent in this situation didn't make sense, but I don't think it did. So I'll just bin this land. And I think I do just cut them off one of their lands for now. Very real chance that they just fetch Plow here. I'm going to come in for a hug. They don't have the resources to really get Corey cooking. I don't think they're going to chump here. I'm going to play this out, and I think in the upkeep, I'm going to waste them off red. So that way, if they want to surveil, they don't get the value. All right, my kids are practicing piano. It sounds very Baroque. And I mean that in the literal sense, not the figurative sense. I love that using Baroque as an adjective, but I'm actually talking about modifying the music because it's from the Baroque period. Okay. All right, and they just grabbed another one. That's fine. But they didn't get to surveil, so I think that was the correct way to do that. Okay, this is the Jeskai Ancestry. We were worried about this. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, creatures you control get +1/+1. Okay. So how many more non-creature spells do you have is my question for you. I guess they have at least 1 here. So this buffs, and they get a draw discard effect. But I am going to tap down their mana base here. So it doesn't create anything. It just buffs the creatures. I'm not convinced this is the Legacy power level card, but we'll see. Oh, it untaps? Holy cow, does this go infinite? I think this goes infinite. They draw a discard. Oh my goodness. I didn't think about that. It's an infinite combo. They can draw like as many cards as they want next turn. Oh, they're tapping. What is this? Okay. They're paying... Why float a blue here? I guess... because they're going to sacrifice... Oh, they have infinite mana. Okay, I'm just going to F6. We're going to see what they do. It didn't occur to me that that was an infinite combo. I take back what I said about it not being a Legacy power level card. It's a really cool kind of win con. So eventually this becomes 2020, and then we just get attacked to death. I thought I had this freaking game in the bag. I totally thought I had this game in the bag. I was like so far ahead. It turns out if I had played back to basics, it probably still wouldn't have been good enough because, yeah, I mean, they can just infinite, right? Okay, Corey. They can equip and give haste. It doesn't matter. Yeah, wait. They can just tap these, right? Like, why aren't they tapping them? I guess they're just... Okay. I'm just going to watch to see what they do. I want to make sure that I'm not, like, crazy, but it looks pretty infinite to me. They're at 4 life. I mean, they're so close to death, but... Right? They can just make this really huge. Why not equip this to this? Because I guess that this doesn't need to attack. Oh, yeah, because this is getting bigger, too. It just speeds things up. Okay, yeah, we can move on. That's crazy. Okay, so, I mean, based off what I saw, I do think Hydroblast is good. What do we want to take out? I think back to basics may be too slow. Like, it felt good there. Like, it would have been good if we stuck it, but I maybe this just isn't the right match. And also, they can get out from under it with Pyro. I think I'm going to bring back in my Dazes, all 4 of them. They are a mana-intensive deck. So what do we cut to make room for those? Archmage Charm, taking a flip Tamio is really strong. I want to keep the potential for that. I don't know that we need 4 Brazen Barbs, but it answers like all their tokens. I think it's good. Planisphere was great. It didn't quite get the job done, but it was very close to getting the job done. I don't want to cut that. It might make sense to cut a Merc, but that is the combo. This is really tough. I think 4 days is 100% correct here, though. We have to tempo them. They have an infinite combo. Like, I didn't realize they were a combo deck. I don't want to take out my Force against their combo deck either. Like, basically, my entire deck is extremely good against them. Dismember is great. Because the life total doesn't matter until the very end when they're trying to rush me with all their creatures. I mean, Propaganda might actually be okay here, but they don't need to go wide. I don't know anything anymore. And maybe the True Name is the card. It is slow. I expect us to win through Giant Merc. True Name is... Yeah, I'm going to cut these. I think it's too slow, especially now that we got the Dazes back and we're going to be proactively wasting them. But then it makes me want to take out Archmage Charm too. We have 4 Brazen Borrowers. I think I take out the Archmage Charm and I keep the True Names. That's my... Well, actually, I would like to take out the True Names and just bring in the Hydroblasts. I think that's better. Now we have so much stack interaction / permanent removal. I think this is the way to play. So we're kind of playing like a control deck, but we do have the Pedal to the Metal in our kind of like 6 win cons in the deck. There's one of them. There's another card that enables this. This seems like a great hand. Let's keep it. Yeah, 2 lands, perfect amount. We have a maybe like 25% chance of drawing a land on any given draw step from here, especially because we're not fetching lands out of our deck. So there's a good chance we'll get to 3, but we don't even necessarily need to get to 3, but it would be nice to be able to protect some of our spells with a Hydro. All right. And they do have explosive stuff in their deck. This just seems like a kind of a power creep version of if you ever played like the cat combo, Paradox Cat or whatever it's called. Oh my goodness, can we deal with this? Well, we do have Brazen Borrower to deal with it. I don't want to force this early, but we don't have a good answer. I think it's... Man, I'm really tempted to just force pitching Hydroblast here because we don't know that Hydroblast is going to be good, but we know that Tamio is going to be good against us. I'm just going to do this. Borrower is good for so many other things later. And this fills up the yard for the Merc. Okay, and we would have drawn an answer for it, unfortunately. Yeah, you don't know what's on top of your deck. We already too have an answer for like the flip version, but like they could just keep attacking and not flipper. They're only playing 3 brainstorms. Okay. But I was just worried about the value that they're going to generate. Okay, that's scary. Another Tamio. So unfortunately, like we rolling Dragonstorm, maybe we find a Wasteland. I mean, that'd be great. They do have... No, wait, they don't have a 3rd artifact, so they don't have this. This doesn't tap. But wait, they go blue, tap that. They can do the thing on us, the Rebuke. Come on, Wasteland. All right. It doesn't matter whether I play this out, and I probably will just want to discard this. So let's go ahead and do this first. Rolling Dragonstorm. First trigger. Do I get the second trigger? I do. Wasteland is great. Wasteland is probably the best draw. But if I don't find a Wasteland... Oh, there's a Wasteland. I think we just want the gas. Yeah, our hand can all be cast out pretty inexpensively. I'm going to keep this Brainstorm because it's double proc on this next turn. I'm going to let them keep the Tamio, and I'm just going to waste the Urza Saga. Because Constructs will be very scary. They flip Tamio. I don't even really care. I just want to restrict their mana. Okay. I don't expect them to block this. All right. I think we're doing okay, but they could just combo us. All right. And like just playing both Tamio and Emery is like extremely strong. Oh, wow. They had another one. And there's the Brainstorm to Flipper, which I just answer with Brazen Borrower next turn. Or I just attack her to death. I think that's fine too. Take a turn off beating them in the face to attack her to death. Because I can brainstorm. Maybe find like another Wasteland would be the best draw. I think we know what 2 of the top cards are. Or, yeah, we do. No, wait, we don't because we didn't cast Brainstorm yet. We cast Rolling Dragonstorm. Okay. A Giant Merc would be great too. Okay, there's an island. Yeah, so I'm going to start with this. And then if they force this, I can always just bounce her back to hand. But that's not really what I want to be doing with my Brazen Borrower. It looks like they are going to go ahead and Metallic Rebuke that. Not a lot I can do about that. So we do get 1 trigger. I can't stop it. Okay, so we get 1 trigger. So it becomes a 4/4. If I cast out... what can I borrow? Oh, I just borrow the clue. And that denies them a draw. And then I attack. I think that's fine. That's not exactly what I would like to do in a perfect world. But I think it's okay. Okay. Feels pretty good. Now we just kill her. I mean, this thing grows so fast. It's like Kudzu, which is a great card from Magic the Gathering history. All right. So we have this on deck. They have 1 card, but they do have constructs. They're tiny constructs. They don't have Metalcraft, but who knows what they're going to draw. If they draw like an artifact land or something. We have Dismember for their combo. We're hitting for 5 each turn. There's no way that their constructs are going to be bigger than this is by the time we're done with it because this triggers and it makes this a 6/6. It's every non-creature spell. And if we draw like another Brainstorm or something like that, she just goes crazy. Our little witch is just going to destroy them. She's going to be like really roided out by the end of this game. Okay, red. Cutter. Okay. That's scary. What's your other spell? That's a good spell. They got 2 of the 3 Brainstorms there. Okay. You got a blocker now. But you are not going to be able to use Urza Saga here. And you're only going to be able to keep 1 of those. And you are still not Metalcrafty. Definitely don't want to have to fire a Dismember at a monk. That'd be pretty... Okay, they're coming in for 2. This does make future Dismembers less good. Merc would be great. A Wasteland would be even better. Ponder's fine. Fire it off. Trigger. Do we want a Tamio? I don't think these cards are... I mean, Daze is potentially good against where they are right now. I don't want that land, though. I think I'm going to any order shuffle this and hope to spike a Merc or a Wasteland. Okay, Daze. We got the Daze anyway. I think we just come in for a hug and get ready to have to dismember something. I'm not going to hang back. I'm going to keep applying pressure. They do not have the ability to create a construct here. Unless they have like a Spirit Guide or something, which I doubt they have. These have been some incredible games, though. Like, I hope you'll agree that these have been some really fun, like back and forth matches. I think we've only played against a combo deck 1 time. Okay. So they're searching. Metallic Rebuke has definitely been good here as a 1-for-1. Okay, they got the land. Fetching. They got a bobble, so this is probably Emery. That would make sense. Okay, wait, how does this work? Oh, no, they have a floating. So this triggers the prowess. They don't have any more cards, so I don't think they can proc this. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, is there a way for them to go infinite based off of just what they're doing? Because I definitely don't want to kill this if I don't have to. Let me think. So their hand is empty. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, creatures you get +1/+1 until end of turn. Untap those creatures. It's a non-creature spell. You may draw a card. Okay, I think we just let this resolve. We can't stop it. And then they this buffs it, but I don't think they get to draw a card because they don't have a card to cast. But they can potentially draw an instant off of this. They'll probably hit. They are hitting, which may be a little bit greedy. We can't kill them because we can't play this out of exile because we don't have the mana. Because I pondered. We did shuffle, so we're drawing wild here. Okay. They can go infinite. No, they can't go infinite. I can't think of an instant where they'd be able to cast more than 1. Okay, this is still cool, though. Okay, so there's their card. They are dazeable, heavily dazeable, if they attempt to do anything here. Okay, Tommy. And that was an unknown card. We didn't know that was it. I have to play Dismember here. I have to hold it up. I do think we just attack here. I'm not worried about... Like, if they go infinite, they go infinite. It might be correct to just play this out instead of playing Tomio out, because then, like, even if they remove this, I've got it lethal. So yeah, I'm not going to play a Tomio here. I'm going to hope that they don't have Emery, but even, yeah, they could equip with this. They don't have red mana though. No, wait, they do. Wait, 1, 2. Yeah, they don't have access to tapping this. And I think we'll be able to do something meaningful here and potentially kill something. That was my son. He's making weird duck noises. Okay, son, I'll be out in a minute for dinner. No. Okay, we got it. That was really fun. All right, my son is gone, and I'm just going to wrap up with thoughts on this matchup. I think we had tons of interaction. Dismember has been an all-star this entire league. It actually was even good in the Doomsday matchup. It saved us in that first game against Doomsday. So, man, if you don't have your awesome retro frame Dismembers and you want to play some mono blue, get 4 of them. This card is definitely a 4 of. So good. Planisphere has just been a very reliable threat. I feel like Planisphere alongside Murktide has been awesome. Okay, so we're going to do the final round. I'll probably come back and do it tomorrow. So I'll be in a different kind of like voice, maybe a different mood. But we are 2-2, having lost to 2 fair decks and having beaten 2 combo decks, if you want to call this combo deck. All right, final round. My kids are asleep, so I'm going to be talking a little bit quieter. Hopefully that's okay. We're up against an unknown opponent. This is a 3-land hand that has True Name. So I think we can just do nothing and then curve into this. We can always pitch this to force if we need to. And I think between these two, even if they remove this, we can equip. So we're just going to, I think this is a keep for sure. Really, any Force of Will hand that has lands in the blind, I think is probably keepable. All right, and my opponent recognized me. Oh, you're excellent. All right, feels good. All right, so opponent opens Swamp. I drew another land. I'm just going to hold these fetches. I mean, playing one out gives them some mystery, but I'd much rather, if I draw Brainstorms later, just have a fetch to shuffle back. Okay, Dark Ritual. Douthie is totally fine. I mean, it shuts off Murktide, but I mean, I think this is a force just because I'm going to lose 2 cards anyway, and I don't want them to put True Name into the Void. That'd be really crappy. That'd really suck. I am putting Force into the Void, though. I am going to pitch the Archmage Charm, and I'm just going to hope to beat them down before they beat me down. Looks like they're on some sort of mono black aggro deck, which I am a fan of. Okay, so Tomio probably not what we want here, because we've already, it's a nice backup card. Hopefully they don't have a Bowmaster. That would really suck. But we can still equip this to this. Unfortunately, we are going to lose the race, though. They're attacking for 3, and they will attack for 3 if they're able to remove this. This is not a good matchup. I don't think it's a terrible matchup, though. We can put Propaganda into the sideboard, maybe. In from the sideboard, since they're going to be attacking with a lot of creatures. It's worth noting that we do have Force in the Void, so they could potentially just hold up Force. They have another Douthie. So now it is going to be harder to kill them. Dismember. Dismember grows this. I do think we just go ahead and stick the True Name first and just attack for 1. I don't actually know that I want to cast Dismember, considering that we had to pay 4 life to kill one of their creatures, but it probably is worth it. But I want to at least get a clock on the table first. So it has protection from you. I'll swing for 1. We'll pass. Being on the draw is a bit rough here, because I feel like on the play we'd be pretty well situated. Dark Confidant's fine. It may actually help. I think this is fine. I'll just take it. Gosh, we're really under the gun here. We can't dismember anything. If I drew Brainstorm, that'd be great. I can Brazen Borrow one of these back to hand. That takes 2 damage off the table. I can play out a Tomio just as a blocker. I don't think they're going to block here. I'll go ahead and play this out. I'm going to go ahead and Play Entomb. I do want to get the extra damage here. So I'm going to attack first. I don't want them to know that this is going to do 2 damage. And I do want them to take damage off of this. We'll come in like that. Let's think about it. If I bounce 1 and if I kill 1, that might actually be okay. They stay in the void. I take 1 damage. So this goes back to hand. This dies. They can attack with this, but it gets blocked. I do think that's better, and we're doing more damage this way. I'm going to go to block and see how they block. I think it's extremely unlikely that they block here. Okay, so I am going to go ahead and just do this. And leave a comment with a timestamp if you think this is a mistake, but like we're doubling our clock while we're effectively completely removing theirs. See, like they can redeploy this, but they're going to have a lot of cards in hand and not a lot of mana to deploy unless they find a dark ritual. They have something here. Fatal Push. That is unfortunate. That means that we are going to get hit by Dark Confidant next turn. Okay. And I still want to hit this because I can always hang back and block Dark Confidant later. I can't block this. We are very much dead on board, but we're doing 6. So they take 6. We're going to take 2. We can deploy this, but we're still not lethal. Wasteland. Shieldred. Oh no. That's pretty good. What was the card that they revealed off Dark? They revealed the Wasteland? Okay. So we need another Brazen Borrower stat, or we're dead. I think that's the only thing that can save us here. So we take 2. Because even if we ponder, we lose 2 life immediately. Yeah, good game. Okay, so mono black aggro, just straight up, with Dark Confidant in it. I do think Propaganda is the only card that makes sense to bring in here. We're going to be on the play, so Daze is better. Yeah, I could definitely see this crimping our opponent's style, because they do cast their hand pretty quickly, but then they still have to do stuff. I kind of think we can go down Rolling Dragonstorm. We could probably go down 1 Dragonstorm, 1 Merc. I mean, it does flip Tomio, and a flip Tomio is very good against them. I doubt they have any answer to it. They may have Shieldred's Edict. I feel like True Name is going to be insane here. I guess technically I could have just held. No, I wouldn't have ever seen the other card. I would have died instantly when I drew the next card. So it's not like I would have been able to clear Shieldred even with my, unstoppable blocker. Does Archmage Charm actually help us? It costs a fortune. I doubt they have 1 mana spells that are really that good. I think we could probably cut it. And yeah, and we kept our mana value the same by bringing in Propaganda. I don't think any of the other cards make any sense. I'm excited to potentially see this in action. This is precisely the kind of matchup where I wanted to have this. The great thing about this is even though we're kind of a tempo deck, the fact that we're playing all basic islands, this is actually a pretty sweet hand. Yeah, I think this is a definite keep because we can Dragonstorm and we can force Pitching Borrower, so we still have the Murktide to get the Dragonstorm back into our hand later. We can dismember something. I'm going to keep this. It doesn't come out of the gates super swinging, but I think it's quite good. So I'll just play this out and I'll pass. I think it's unlikely they're playing any tech lands, but if they are, and Wasteland can snipe one of them, some people just can't help themselves and they play lots of tech lands in their monocolored decks. That usually is more something that white decks do. I'm going to let this happen. So the real take here is probably Dragonstorm. They may take Force if they have like a Hymn to Torok or something in hand. If they're scared of Murktide, which black doesn't have good answers for generally. Black, like Fatal Push is by far the best removal spell in black, and it just doesn't hit Murktide. Okay, they took our Force. Well, that means we're not going to 2-for-1 ourselves. Okay, Misty. I think it's fine to show them that we drew this. I might actually discard the Wasteland since we have plenty of land here. Also, we're getting around Opposition Agent by fetching now. This does make future Brainstorms less good. But I'd hate for our mana development to be set back. Okay. Yeah, I think I just pitched the Wasteland here. It's the least likely to be helpful. Next turn, we do have Murktide, which will return this to hand if they don't Thoughtseize us or make us discard it. And a lot of black players play like 4 hymns, but I'm more of a 3 hymn, 0 to 3. So I wouldn't be surprised if we get hymned here. Dark Ritual. Douthie. Okay. What else do you have? Hymn. The Douthie hymn combo again with the Dark Ritual. That's extremely unfortunate. That is going to keep us off. I mean, we can still cast a Murktide if we have one. Let's see what we have. Okay. We did not lose Murktide. That's good. We did lose our Dismember. Murktide is not going to be that big. They could just sack the Douthie. Oh, wait, we didn't lose our Dismember. We lost Brainstorm and Borrower. Okay. Planisphere. Well, I think I just get the island. So this, I believe the creature doesn't die until after this gets exiled, unfortunately. I would like to exile. I do believe that's how it works. So I could just Planisphere and then kill. And then I at least have a 2/2. Then I mark the subsequent turn. I am worried that they might have another hymn or something like that, and I could lose my Murktide completely. I'm going to go ahead and take a chance on Dismember first. So let's go get... I want this in my graveyard. I'm not sure how it works. Whether Dismember kills instantaneously, damage-based doesn't kill instantaneously, but minus abilities might kill instantaneously because it's like a state. So I'm going to do this, and we're going to learn how Magic works. We're going to learn the rules in real time because I'm too lazy to look this up. There might be some judge ruling on it somewhere. Okay, so that dies, and Dismember does indeed go to the exile. So we wouldn't have been able to do the play where we could play Murktide that turn. Hopefully we still get to cast it. It will mean a lot to me if I can get this Murktide on the table, but I did want to get this out and out of Bowmaster harm way. 3 mana. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Well, that sucks. That was basically worst case scenario. All right. That's not bad. Not bad at all. Hopefully they don't have like Dark Ritual Bowmaster. Even if they do, it's not going to do that much. Okay. So I'll discard this for sure. All right. And I'm just going to go ahead and use it now. There's a Murktide. I think we take the days here. I don't need this land. I'm going to be able to get these back into my hand after I cast Murktide, and then I can just immediately deploy one of them, and then I can discard this land. But days is potentially good, and we want to protect Murk from disruption this turn. Okay, let's go in for a hug. This is quite a beefy body now. Okay. They are not doing anything. They could be flooded. Let's do it. 1, 2. I'm going to go ahead and get the Murk out of the yard. There's no advantage to it being there, and I don't want them to like have the option of reanimating it. I don't think that would come up, but just in case. Okay, and the scoop to that. Wow. I think we just got lucky that we hit their fail rate. They had an insane opening. Okay, I still think Propaganda is good. Like, they have really rock solid mana. It might not be good. I could take out a couple dazes and bring in not Force Negation. Archimage Charm back in. Yeah, I think Daze is not going to be spectacular here, especially because they're going to just empty their hand really quickly, and yeah, and we're on the draw. Yeah, let's do that. I could absolutely shave like a Wasteland. I think it already submitted, so I can't. But yeah, okay, this is a hand. This is a freaking hand with a Brainstorm, Tomio combo. We've got a Daze to protect. We just need them to not nut. If they have a nut draw, we're screwed. I'm keeping this though. Okay, Tomb, Dark Ritual. It's notable that this allows me to pay mana for Dismember if we need to. I think they're going to take Tomio or the Brainstorm, but probably just take Tomio here. And now they know about my Daze, unfortunately. But if they had like a Douthie, they would have played it beforehand. Gosh, they've had Dark Ritual all 3 games. There's a 40% chance that they'll have it, but still. Okay, and this, I think, is just Dismember. Now that I don't have anything better to do, I don't want them to get card advantage. It sucks doing this against their aggro deck, but I do feel confident that it's correct. I don't want them to rebuild. I'll daze basically anything I can get good daze equity on. Oh, wow. They're really hurt by this. Why are they playing this? I think this is a daze. They just skipped to that. Okay. Yeah, well, that was a good league. My goodness, that was fun. I had so much freaking fun. That was the 3-2. Let's take a look at the list. Changes. I think propaganda is maybe unnecessary. Like with 4 dismembers. The other card that I consider playing is Piracy Charm. Let me show you this. It's just like a way to kill Bowmaster for 1 blue mana. We didn't get to face... I'm not even sure in the post-ban meta whether people are playing the Mardu deck. So let me read Piracy Charm. Target creature gains Island Walk until end of turn. So it can basically be a way that you get unblockable damage through against most of the meta. Target creature gets negative +2, -1. You can buff your own creature, like if you just need 2 extra damage. Target player discards a card. So it's never dead. It can always do something. It's just not like super powerful, but it is flexible. And I do think that this could come in against like a suspected Bowmaster matchup. This could also be good against, Ocelot Pride. So I think this would probably be better. When in doubt, go with lower curve cards. Archmage Charm is cute, frankly. Like there was a time that we almost stole Tommy, and it did bait out of force. But I'm not sure that this is good enough for Legacy. This is played in Modern. I want to emphasize, I do have 10 in a row wins, back-to-back trophies. I've got those videos. If you look through my history, and we're playing a deck very similar to this. Basically what I did is I just brought in Planisphere, and I took out, I had a bunch of Spell Pierces, which I think are less necessary. They didn't feel necessary in this matchup. And we went lower curve with Daze. But I like this build with the Wastelands a lot more. I think this is going to be really relevant against a lot of the big mana decks, because there were several times where we just got a Planisphere down and we just jammed and we just smushed, and it was pretty rad. Like, this card is legit. This is the real deal. We never really got to equip it to True Name. So here is how I would change this deck based on this league. And it's not a lot of information to make decisions on, but I do think Piracy Charm is probably better than Propaganda. I've never seen Propaganda in a Legacy deck in the last 15 years. It might have been played at one point, but Piracy Charm, also fringe, but you could argue there's room for it. In terms of killing Tomio, which we don't really kill, we can kill Tomio through Brazen Borrower. We just bounce her out of play, or True Name can whack her to death, or just a giant Merc. She is a problem for sure for this deck, but I feel like we have enough ways to kill her. There were, I think, a couple situations where they got a Tomio out and we just beat her down. I think Astrologian's Planisphere is really freaking good. The question is, do we really want True Name? True Name was good, but it also cost a fortune to get out, and we were always at risk of it getting dazed. If we just cut that and we just play like this, that's 60 cards, and we're still doing low curve stuff. We could cut the Archmage Charm, and maybe we could just bring in Spell Pierces here. We could also main deck Force Negation. I don't like to do that because, we expend our hand really quickly. Daze is so much better than Force Negation. In many situations, Daze you can cast during your own turn. Daze counters creature spells, which are some of the key spells in Legacy right now are creatures. Especially if you're up against what we were just playing against. Douthie was very fierce there in terms of denying us the ability to Merc. You could also just put additional cantrips in here. I'm not sure about that. Dress Down, and now that we removed the none of our creatures are negatively impacted by Dress Down is a noteworthy thing. So Dress Down is unilateral. It wipes out constructs. It turns off ETB triggers and stuff. It's a great way to stall. I would, but at the same time, whoa, my cat scared the hell out of me. She just bust in. What the hell? I don't know if you heard that thud. 1 second. All right, kitty, you just shaved a year off my life. My goodness. Okay. Yeah, that's just kind of my thinking on this. I'm always in favor of just going low curve. You can see okay, you're playing a control deck. Why are you playing 4 Days and 4 Wasteland? And
I still think that Legacy is so fast, and I think Daze is one of the best cards ever printed. And I'm going to continue to jam it into my control decks, especially while we have Tamiyo, because it's just so important to be able to protect her early game. The standout card for this entire league was Dismember. I never really missed having the Surveil land where we were getting hemmed and stuff and we were kind of like living off the top of our deck. It would have been nice, but they had Wasteland, and I was pretty happy that I still had my solid mana just to be able to have those options, because you never know when you're getting in a situation where you do need to cantrip 2 times and then bounce something, and you need 4 mana for that. Another card that I certainly considered running is Lorien Revealed, but it's always been kind of like, it seems to clash with the whole Daze philosophy. Like, really, when are you going to ever cast the Lorien Revealed? And if you're playing Lorien Revealed, you're kind of priced into bringing in Mystic Sanctuary, which is a non-basic land, which clashes with your Back to Basics plan. So you can kind of see like the design decisions I made here. What these last 2 slots are, I mean, we could just play True Names here. It's not the worst. We could also play Spell Pierce. With how heavy, like I think 3 out of those 5 matches were combo, if you include the Painter. Yeah, I mean, I think it Spell Pierce is fine. And then you might be asking, okay, well, now you've got like a lot of anti-combo stuff in your main. Like, do you want to put a True Name Nemesis in the side? Or do you want to put like Dress Down in here? I think we could play probably 2 Spell Pierce. And Spell Pierce is good because it stalls and it fills up your graveyard for Murktide. I don't like playing cards that proactively fill up the graveyard, like Mental Note or Thought Scour or anything like that. I think that those cards are just bad. But Spell Pierce can potentially protect very inexpensively, a Brainstorm on a Tamiyo, for example, or if you've got a little mana open and your opponent's about to force your Murktide. I think too, and it leans into the mana denial, like the soft permission side of this. And then what I think we would do here is we could play Piracy Charm. Did we run into Bowmasters at all this league? I can't remember. You are going to run into it though. Blue-Black Tempo. Oh yeah, I think we did actually play against Blue-Black Tempo. I think that was one of our losses. And in that situation, Piracy Charm might actually be just what the doctor ordered. 1 blue mana to kill a Bowmasters. But the problem is that it doesn't do a lot else. It won't kill a Tamiyo, for example. There is a card that I want to show you real quick that does kill Tamiyo and also cantrips at the same time. Let's see if I can find it. I think it's Twisted something. Here it is, Twisted Image. It's got some gnarly, like, dragon doing some literal navel gazing there. Switch target creature's power and toughness until end of turn, draw a card for 1 blue mana. I mean, we've got lots of answers to Tamiyo already, and I like the ability to just beat down a Tamiyo with Planisphere. I think probably the best thing about Planisphere is you can equip your Planisphere to your Tamiyo and then actually have like a flying wing con if you cast enough spells. Although you're never going to be able to trigger the draw a second card. I guess you could like draw 2 cards during their turn somehow through Cracking Clues. Wait. Draw your 3rd card. Okay, yeah. So if you draw your 3rd card, you're necessarily going to flip Tamiyo, which defeats the benefit to Planisphere. So yeah, I guess you would just stick this on like a Brazen Borrower. Or maybe a Mark if you really need extra power. I don't think that this... I can see why people are playing this. I mean, it's an instant that kills a Tamiyo and draws a card. Not bad. I don't think she's that ubiquitous. There are a lot of matchups where this would be dead. I do think Dress Down's probably more flexible. So if I had to choose here, you could probably cut one of these Forced Negations. I do think 4 Consigns and 4 Hydroblasts will be good, even though they didn't come up in this league. The Hydroblast actually we did use. So I'm going to put in these awesome Old Border Dress Downs here, and we have our 15 cards. So my defense of Piracy Charm, again, I do think it'll be good against specifically Bowmasters. And even if you board it in and your opponent just doesn't have Bowmasters coming out, you might be able to use combat tricks to kill something else, just get the final damage on it, or at the very worst, just make your creature unblockable or make them discard a card. I think it's flexible enough to be a sideboard slot. Again, Forced Negation, I just we already have Spell Pierce and Daze and Force. And then in a lot of the matchups like Show and Tell, you're often going to be bringing in Hydroblast, or you could potentially be bringing in Consign if they're on some sort of One Ring variant. I don't know. Like, this is the fewest Force of Negations I've ever had in a 75. Something tells me this is probably wrong. I think probably we just want 3 Consigns and 2 Force Negations. I've never been like a 4 Consign stand. The main reason I think 4 Hydroblast is fine here is it literally is removal against Delver. Like, and you need removal. You don't want to be paying 4 life to remove a DRC. And it is very good against Cutter, and it's very good against Bolt and, opposing Pyroblast and all that stuff. Like, it'll be great to protect our creatures. So I think Hydroblast is a 4 of here. So that is where I'm going to leave it. I had a blast with this league. I'm having a blast with this new meta. It seems wide open. It's so nice not having to worry about my trophy getting destroyed by like running into Michael Reed or one of these grinders who just insists on playing the best deck at any given time. And being able to just not worry about the graveyard. Like, you see 0 graveyard interaction here, and I'm sure people are going to play Dredge, and I'm going to be like, oh damn, they got Dredge. But frankly, like, there's not a lot of good graveyard options just in mono blue. You can play Grafdigger's Cage, but I don't know. I think like graveyard based combo can be answered the same way we're doing other combo with on the stack in many cases. I want to shout out Larson, the current European world champion, who has been playing Cephalid Breakfast for like years before Nadu was printed. And you know what? Now that Nadu's banned, he's still playing Breakfast. He went back to playing with Stoneforge Mystics. He's still on 4 Tamio, but he's got like 3 or 4 Stoneforge Mystics in his deck, and he just goes and gets the Shuko with that. And he can also win with Caldra Complete, which is the tech that was before Nadu was printed. So he just went right back. He loves Breakfast. What can I say? He wakes up extra early and just starts the day off right? So I'll leave it there. Until next time, be excellent to each other and party on.